at your own discretion. So, good afternoon, and thank you to just these great kids for inviting me to speak. It's truly an honor, it really is, to be with all of you today, and I promise no swear words. Follow me on Twitter, you may know. I must be honest though, I had given up hope. It has been 1,926 days since the brutal murder of 26 beautiful souls, the students, teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary. You see, I thought that would be a spark, right? I thought, that's it. The politicians would have to act. How could they not? What could possibly be standing in their way? And when they didn't, I thought we were broken as a nation. Every single incident of gun violence in schools, in the home, in the communities since then is one too many.
Yeah.
But now my hope has been restored by the students and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas that through tragedy, a movement has been born that could be the change I had given up ever seeing. What a great job by these young people to not only strike a match to ignite this passion in Florida, but all across the country, all across the world. I'm so impressed. As a teacher, I think my job here today is to give a little lesson, help inspire, and in the end, leave them with a sense that the impossible can be accomplished. I think it's important for you to understand first a little bit about myself, because I believe that the road I traveled is similar to the road all these young folks have in front of them. See, I grew up in the 60s to a family that was very politically active. If you ever walk into my classroom, you'll see pictures of the Kennedy family. Thanks, Reed, for quoting John F. Kennedy. See, I shook John F. Kennedy's hand when he visited Cheney Stadium in Tacoma. I remember that. I believed in the ideals that he and Bobby Kennedy espoused. JFK had this to say at his inauguration: ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I grew up believing that, and I hope that they can believe it and you can believe it too. See, my father was an immigrant from Mexico, which is a subject for a completely different speech. He worked the fields even after he became a U.S. citizen and fought in 2 wars. So when the farm workers organized under Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta and countless others, I picketed along with my family and thousands of others to help bring about change and to help in that struggle. Boycotting Safeway stores. I didn't even know what a grape looked like until I was probably about 12. And you know what? Change came. They negotiated protections for the unprotected, making gains in wages and living conditions. This was a powerful lesson for me. I learned that people working together can bring justice for the most vulnerable among us. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. While an undergraduate at the University of Washington, I helped organize and was arrested for my beliefs when the University of Washington tried to eliminate most all of the Minority Affairs Department. We protested and staged a sit-in for our beliefs. We were a strong, united, and committed group, trying to protect those who would come behind us. And we won. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. My next phase was to become a teacher, to inspire, to teach, to motivate, and to encourage the next generation. I'm a government teacher at Hanford High School. Yeah. Still, at least as far as I know. I teach 17 and 18-year-olds, and I know firsthand the love they have for each other, the caring they demonstrate to each other, and most importantly, the desire they have to make their world and our world better. I know they believe this gun control fight, this guns in our schools, is the defining issue of their lives. Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do. That's not what your country can do for you. That's what you can do for your country. But they have to be prepared for a long, difficult road ahead. There are political forces in the way. Again, a little history lesson is in order, because those power political forces can be beaten. Your vision and goals can be attained. Just look at some major movements in our nation's history. The abolition of slavery took 246 years, from the introduction of slaves into our country, onto our land, to the passage of the 13th Amendment. Although slavery in other forms existed for at least another 100 years. I saw the sign over here for Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. The fight is not over. Great gains have been made. It took women's suffrage 72 years from Seneca Falls to victory with the passage of the 19th Amendment. And then the pace quickened a little with only a decade passing between Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat to passage of the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act laws. Again, the struggle continues with those. We know that to be true. But more importantly, these movements were not solitary ones. They were struggles where people with shared vision worked toward a common goal. Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton passed the torch to suffragettes of the 20th century like Carrie Chapman Catt to take it across the finish line. Women went to prison, died for what they believed in. Many people sacrificed to see this through. With slavery, the early abolitionists like William Lloyd Garrison and Mott and Stanton gave way to Frederick Douglass and Lucy Stone, to John Brown, and finally President Lincoln, Congressman Ashley, and Senator Henderson getting the 13th Amendment passed. Rosa Parks did not act alone. Reverend King did not cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge by himself. The Freedom Riders did not act alone, and President Kennedy's vision created the opportunity for LBJ to bring that legislation to fruition. The point is, you aren't alone. None of you are. The young at heart, and those with a heart for the young. But with vision, cooperation, and strength of purpose, you will create the society you want and we all deserve. Sorry for the history lesson. I'm afraid it's an occupational hazard. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. We gather here today to speak out, to tell our community that we do not like where our nation is at in regards to guns, to safety, to violence. We want change. You, the next generation, want change. I am certainly going to give you my opinion on what I think should be done, at least partially. But by no means do I pretend that I know all the answers. One of the joys of being a teacher is that I don't know everything, and I get to learn new ways of looking at things every day for my students. Look around to the people near you. They all have a different way of looking at this issue because the path their feet have trudged to get to today. This diversity have taken into account and give us varied visions forward to achieve the goals we desire. An end to gun violence in our schools, our homes, and our communities. There are no one-size-fits-all answers, no golden ticket, no surefire solution. You need to be able to listen to other solutions, to other ideas, as long as the vision and goal are shared. I stand before you today to declare that I, Steve Perez, a teacher, do not want, nor do I think it is a good idea, for there to be teachers and administrators carrying guns in school. We need less, not more. We need to create a society where schools are places where we don't have kids running into safe rooms, teachers locking kids in closets. We need schools where kids run to playgrounds, and the only thing locked in the school are the janitorial supplies. Yoo-hoo! You see, teachers and paraeducators need to teach. Administrators need to guide and plan. And support staff need to do their jobs. None should have guns. And certainly kids should not have guns. I am not here to spout statistics at you. We have all heard them ad nauseum. We know this is an epidemic, and it is time for change, and you are our change agents. I want a society where guns are not idolized, overly appreciated, and valued above life. I want a society where kids go to schools not worrying about being shot, where gun violence is so rare it is remarkable, not ignored because it is so commonplace. Is that too much to ask? No. I think your attendance here today and throughout the country says that. A resounding no. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. These are the first words of our Constitution. If you ever need justification for this movement, here it is. Thank you to our founding fathers. Because we are the people, you are the people, and our union needs your help. Your vision, your goals for a society that just says no to guns in schools and guns killing people. A place with laughing and learning kids, not cowering, fearful, dead children. So I tell you two things that you need to do. The rest is up to each and every one of you. The first is to register and to vote. I have been registering kids for my classes for as long as I've been teaching seniors in high school. It's important, but don't forget primary elections. For some reason, they put them in August, when everybody is out enjoying the sun. But they are important. We are a top 2 primary state. Don't forget to vote. Make sure you encourage your friends to vote and your neighbors to vote. And my AP government kids will tell you that the 18 to 35 demographic is the least likely to vote. But I'm going to say this is going to change, and it will change. I know it. And the second thing I say comes way of our state constitution. You see, if you want to bypass the legislature and the politicians who aren't doing anything, you can put an initiative on the ballot, and if passed, it becomes law. It's a little bit more complicated, but you get the gist. It takes 260,000 votes on the initiative to get, and people's signatures to get on the ballot. This number is good until after the 2020 election. So if you cannot get these politicians out now, bypass them. That is why we are here today. Start a movement. Take action. Transform our schools and our societies. I leave you today with a quote. Be a nuisance when it counts. Do your part to inform and stimulate the public to join your action. Be depressed, discouraged, and disappointed at failure and the disheartening effects of ignorance, greed, and corruption, and bad politics. But never give up. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Thank you all.